All right, so today I want to talk to you about the top 5 gene SNPs, nutrition and support. So this is actually part 2. If you've missed our first video of the top 5 gene SNPs that are responsible for your fatigue, then go ahead and click on the link in the description or just above so that you can watch that particular video. Today I wanted to talk to you about what are the nutrition supporting ideas that we can do to help with these specific gene SNPs. Now remember, this is just informational purposes only. Be sure to talk to your medical provider and don't take this as medical advice. This is more for information to be able to support your function. So let's talk about the 5 SNPs. So we talked about CYP21A2. To remind you, what the CYP21A2 gene does is it helps to convert progesterone into cortisol. Why that's so important is because if we're tired, we're exhausted, we're burnt out, we're stressed, we're going to be signaling our HPA axis to make cortisol. Cortisol is our stress hormone, one of many that's important for supporting inflammation, settling down, stress, being able to make sure you get your minerals balanced, make sure that you have energy, make sure that you're rising to the response. And if you don't have the ability to convert the starting product into the end product, you're not going to have the end product. So what I typically recommend is doing proper testing. You don't want to just give you cortisol support if you have that genetic predisposition, but your cortisol is not low. A lot of the times your cortisol could be very high, and if you give yourself more cortisol support, it's going to be even higher. So that's why it's really important to test. I typically like to do Dutch tests. I've done lots of videos on Dutch tests. I can do more if you need some more information. But once you know that your cortisol levels are low, whether it's from a saliva free fraction, it's from a Dutch test, or it's from a blood test, it's from a urine sample, and you see that it's sluggish, it's not rising, then typically you can support it with certain nutrients that support your cortisol production. That could be licorice root, that could be glandulars, that could be adaptogens. Now, just a word of caution, if you have high blood pressure and you take licorice root, it will raise your blood pressure. So you want to make sure, once again, that you talk to your doctor and you make sure that these are appropriate supplements for you. The second thing that we look at is your ATOX enzyme, or your ATP7A or your ATP7B. We mentioned that this helps to bring copper into the mitochondria from the cytosol. And that's really important for a lot of factors, for generating energy, for clearing the exhaust, for supporting your immune system, for speeding up other reactions in your body. If you don't have those genes working at full capacity, you're going to have exhaustion and tiredness. And that's how I came up with these 5 gene SNPs, is because all of these gene SNPs I have, and if you want to learn how to be able to test them, I have a link in the bio for the best tests. Unfortunately, 23andMe and Ancestry have dropped a lot of their important gene SNPs that tell us these things on their latest version. But what I recommend, again, is proper testing. Testing that you're looking at your copper, your ceruloplasmin, your ferritin, your transferrin, your TIBC, your percent saturation, your copper to ceruloplasmin ratios, your vitamin A to vitamin D ratios, your copper to zinc ratios, your hemoglobin, your hematocrit, your RBCs. There's a lot of information that goes in there, and it's not just about looking in the ocean and seeing that, oh, Mrs. Jones, your iron is low, you're iron deficient, we got to pump you with more iron. Chances are you're not getting copper into the mitochondria. That's not opening the doorways to allow iron out. It's creating a lot of oxidation, inflammation, fatigue, and you're not doing the proper things. Let's assume you had low copper or low copper status based on all those things we just tested. We would do things like beef liver because it's rich in copper. People say, well, isn't that rich in iron? It's proportional in the way that we're designed. You have to be really careful that you're not getting synthetic fortified iron enriched foods, because that's going to load you up with iron, and making sure that you're getting healthy minerals, you're getting certain products like Recuperate, Mitosynergy. These have a lot of great copper natural ingredients in there. The third one is the SLC40A1. This is a really important gene. We find with people with this particular gene, it's what helps open up the iron doorway to allow iron out of cells. And that's a really important thing, because if you're not getting iron out of your tissues, you're not making red blood cells, you're not making hemoglobin, you're not helping oxygen produce ATP, and you're creating oxidation of iron, which is creating Fenton reactions, which is creating hydroxyl reactions, which is really creating a lot of havoc in your body. And this enzyme could be really problematic. Same thing goes for what we just talked about. Beef liver, Mitosynergy, Recuperate, B vitamins, very, very important, but you want to make sure you do the proper blood testing. I'll create a video on that. The fourth one is Nerf 2 Keep 1. Nerf 2 Keep 1 is a huge challenge. It's like the antioxidant systems in your house. When God forbid, there's a fire, smoke rises to the alarm, it senses the smoke and it releases the water. If those genes are faulty or sluggish or not working at full capacity and you have a lot of stress, then you're not necessarily releasing the hounds, setting out the water to put out the fires. So some really great nutrients that you can do is sulforaphane, something called paractin, something called ellagic extract. You can also get things like turmeric and resveratrol. Those are really great Nerf 2 supporting things. You just don't want to be doing it every day, because if you're watering the plant every day and you never take away the water, the sunlight and the rest and the soil can't take in those nutrients. Same thing with your body, and I find that's a major challenge for people. And then the fourth one is the KIT enzyme. This is a really important enzyme that helps to signal multiple pathways for regeneration, for immune supporting, for red blood cell production, for immune regulation. And if your body's under stress and it's going haywire, then these KIT enzymes, when they're polymorphic, aren't going to put the brakes on that process. And that's what happens, is we get this runaway train that ends up being a vicious cycle, and you're locked in this storm. And that's what they call even a cytokine storm. So there's a lot of things we can do for this. Skullcap, which is also known as bicalin. We can also do luteolin or PEA or quercetin. I would say, again, talk to your doctor, because quercetin can be something that slows down your catecholamines. And if you have a lot of adrenaline, you have a lot of dopamine, you have a lot of estrogen rising, then taking that quercetin can slug down that pathway. So anyways, I wanted to present this with you, the top 5 gene SNPs for nutritional support. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the top genes that are making it difficult for you to process your healthy fats. So if you've ever tried a keto diet, or you don't do well with healthy fats, or you just don't know what kind of diet you're doing that's the best for your genes, and you're tired and you're looking for solutions, then pay attention to our next video so we can help you, support you in your quest to get your energy back. If you like this video, give me a share, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscription, and please ask me any questions in the link below. Look forward to helping your energy, fatigue, nightmare. Have an awesome day.